Now then, this morning I had rather hoped we might have some young children, but never mind, we've got young adults. Just all sort of use your imagination and feel young. And it's amazing what it'll do for you. Now, but I'm still not letting you off the hook, right? I put a lot into this morning, so somebody is going to help me, aren't you? That's a good man, thank you. So readily volunteered. Would you like to come and join me? You can bring the dog if it makes you feel happier. You don't need protection. Right, now if you would like to stand there, and I will ask you to put some things in there at the appropriate time. Right, now be careful, because the first thing you've got to put in there is a stone. And you can leave the lid off. You may need it later for when you're cooking. Right then, I'm going to tell you a story, and I want you all to take part in it, right? This young man has willingly volunteered. He was jumping up and down with enthusiasm. So, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a stranger appeared in a village. Now, the village was very, very poor. The people in it were very, very poor. So much so that what they had, they hid. Now, I expect a gasp from you from that one. Oh, hid it. Gracious. Okay, so they hid it. Right. So the stranger comes into the country, and in his rucksack he carries with him, that he's had in his van, which nowadays they apparently have. They don't go on foot, they go in a van. And he had a cooking pot. And in that cooking pot, he placed a stone, which this young man has placed there. So he went to the first villager and he knocked on the door. And he said, how about a bed for the night? So the lady who answered the door was on a catch, and she said, oh no. So he said, well, I'm going to do something clever. He said, I'm going to make stone soup. Oh, she said, that's interesting. She said, actually, I might have, well, you might have a bag first. I might have some cabbage. So would you like to carry some cabbage out there? Just, you can dump it in as it is, it's all right. We're not actually lighting a fire. You'll be pleased to know. Right, so, great, he says. So the cabbage goes in the cooking pot with the stone. He goes to the next door, and he knocks on another door. It's a gentleman comes to the door then, and he says, oh, no bed for the night tonight, no. So the chap said, okay, but I'm making some stone soup. And I already have some... Hey! I already have some. It gets more difficult. So then he goes along and he said, I think I got some potatoes. It's a good job he knows what vegetables are. Thank you, that's going to be lovely when it's cooked. So, now then, as he's about to put the water on and the carrots, and we haven't got carrots, have we yet? No. And the cabbage and the potatoes, somebody comes out from another door and says, what are you doing? He said, I'm making stone soup. Oh, he said, that's very interesting. Well, he said, I might have some onions. As if on cue. So now in the pot he has... Well done. Shall I do that after the sermon? See if you remembered it. Right, okay, so somebody else comes out and they think, there's a lovely smell out here. So he said, right, okay then. He said, what is it? So he said, it's stone soup. Right, he said, okay then. I think I might have some celery. doing a good job. So, now we've got celery. Somebody else comes out from the house, and this is the last one of the villagers, and he comes out and says, oh, that smells really lovely. I think I've got some mushrooms. That's fortunate, isn't it? Thank you. You can put the lid on now. Thank you very much. You can go and sit down. Thank you so much for your help. It was a great help. I'm so grateful for that. Okay. So now, in his bowl, he's got a stone. He's got cabbage. He's got potatoes. He's got celery. Onions. All right. Who missed out the onions? After the onions comes celery. And after the celery comes mushrooms. By this time, all the villagers are gathered round this pot, and it's smelling beautiful. And he's thinking, great. Now then, what do you think he's making? And it just so happens, it turns out of the pot, look what he's made. A tin of mushroom soup. That's pretty clever, isn't it? But you're going to say to me, what is the point of this story? The point of this story is, if we all share our talents, our goods, our lives with other people, then all of us will benefit from it. That village benefited from the food, from the company of the stranger, and they tried to buy the stone off him afterwards, thinking the stone was magic. And he tried to barter large amounts of money. And he said, no. And in the end, he had a bed for the night, and the next morning, off he went. But those people from then on in shared everything. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to share our resources, our talents, and our lives. So, shall we... Well, I think you will remember the stone soup after that, won't you? But please don't go and try it at home.